Hello Ravens fans and welcome to another season preview. I'm Aaron Schneider, Sports Information Director at Anderson University, and joining us for our men's lacrosse season preview is Coach Jacob Ashton. How are you doing today?
I'm doing very well, Aaron.
All right, well first to kick things off, tell us about what your goals and expectations are for this year.
Yeah, got a young group this year, talented but young. We graduated a lot of our offense from last year, a lot of our contributors for 3-4 years, so definitely kind of got young on offense again. So I think just kind of figuring out what our identity is and in terms of what we look like as a whole. But I think we're going to continue to make our mark in conference. We've kind of finished in that second, third kind of spot relatively, and I see us vying for those spots again.
Okay, now going to that, there's a little bit of change in the HCLC. We don't have the affiliate memberships anymore, aside from Spalding. Transylvania is making their return to the HCLC. How do those changes reflect on sort of what you're targeting for this year?
Yeah, I mean, having Colorado College and Southwestern and Centenary definitely added some competitive teams. And obviously Transylvania coming back, another team that they've been kind of in that conference championship talk, in years past and whatnot. It's a challenge that, in the years before we never beaten Transylvania, and I think we've grown a lot as a team over that time, but we know it's still going to be a tough test. Every team this year will be a tough test, mostly just because a lot of the teams that are like ourselves that are newer are getting better. So the league is getting more competitive, which is good, and that means that we have to step up. That means that we have to continue taking that next step. So, so I think Transylvania is going to be a tough team to beat. But as our team figures out what we can do and we play within our means, I think we can beat anybody.
Okay. Now you did mention we did have a lot of core key players that did graduate. Before going into those position groups, I kind of want to talk about where we're particularly veteran, both which for me is the defense and the face-off.
Yeah, so that's where I'm excited to watch Kenny Bentley. He's our junior face-off mid, and he's a guy that's also going to play offense for us. And we've seen a lot of growth from him this year already. Every year he has just gotten better and better. And he was coming off an all-conference selection last year for the first time, which was great. And so I know Kenny's going to be, able to continue competing and making his mark in our conference defensively. We got 3 seniors that have all been starters and all-conference selections as well. So guys that I expect to be leaders and expect to do some big things for us. We bring back Spencer Pruden, who Spencer rotated last year as a freshman in goal, but he finished in conference with over a 70% save percentage last year. So I'm excited to see him continue to grow in his sophomore year. I think our defense has an opportunity to continue doing some big things. And as long as we can be 50% or better at the face-off X, I think we'll surprise some people.
All right, and then going into our attack, where we're seeing a lot of change with some key seniors graduating. What is that going to look like for this year?
Yeah, that entire attack group's pretty much brand new. One of our guys, Robert Akugbo from Baltimore, he's kind of going to rotate between both midi and attack. And he was a guy that had started attack last year, moved into mid, and was starting to come on until he unfortunately had a season-ending injury. But he started off this spring really well, and he's probably going to focus more at the attack group right now and hopefully bring some veteran experience there. And then midfield-wise, we actually, Rick Kaufman, he's a guy that had played defense and is a guy that has shown a lot of versatility and has moved on to the offensive side of the ball for us. So excited to see him and what he's going to be able to do as he gets more confident at the midfield. I think it's just learning how to play amongst this group. When you lose the kind of firepower that you do, it means guys got to step up and they got to learn to adjust to the speed of the game coming out of high school pretty quickly. But they're talented. It's just getting that confidence. And so But yeah, we've got a couple freshmen rotating between attack, and then a couple freshmen rotating in the midfield. So, so again, it's a pretty young group, but I'm excited to see what they'll do as we get going.
Okay, and then go into some of the newcomers, regardless of position, that you can see really making an impact this year.
Yeah, so we've got Abram Zimmerman, one of our middies, real tough downhill dodger. I think he's going to be one of our better shooters for sure, and a guy that I think is going to be able to put up some good points for us. Looking at the attack group, so we got William Harriman. Will's a freshman from Ohio. Will's shown he's a really, really good, accurate shooter so far, and a guy that we want to continue to get the ball to and just find means that we can set him up with. On defense, we got two poles, so Dallas and Alex, that are both going to kind of rotate in and switch off into LSM and also a close D, and so two guys that are quickly getting a lot of experience. Yeah, a really talented group. I think they're bringing a lot to the competitiveness of our team this year, and I'm excited to see, again, what we'll do.
All right, and then going into our season opener, we open against Wilmington here on Wednesday. Tell us about what your expectations for that match is going to be.
Yeah, Wilmington, so they have a new coach, looking at their team, a lot of new names, so it's tough to, the first game's always tough to go into scouting, but when you see a roster that's completely different from last year, you have to just focus on us, right? Focus on what we do and control what we can control, and then we just play lacrosse, right? Wilmington is young in a lot of ways that we are, and so there's some things that, hey, let's try to exploit some things here and there. But I know their coach, he's been in the Midwest for a long time, so I know he's going to bring a competitive, nature to that group, and I know they're going to come here to play and win. So yeah, it should be a good first opener for us, and a good first test, and hopefully allow us to get some more confidence as we go.
And then finally, what does your team need to do this year to be successful?
Trust the process. I think for us, when you have a team, like I said, that you lose so many guys you relied on for so many years, now other guys need to be able to step up and to have that confidence and to realize that, hey, you can't rely on this guy or this guy. You need to, everybody's got to step up into a role. Everybody's got to take ownership and just trust the process of where we're going. We're actually, from this point to now, we're probably the furthest we've ever been along in terms of our stick skills and the fundamentals. And so the work off the field that these guys have done and our captains have done has really shown so far. So now it's putting it all together, right? Putting it all together. And I don't think it's going to happen per se right away. I think it's going to come kind of gradually as the season progresses. But the sooner that these guys don't particularly say, hey, it's going to be this guy or this guy, it's going to be like, no, it's going to be all of us, right? It's going to be all of us invested, and all of us that has to take that ownership. And then I think we'll surprise ourselves even and do some really good things.
All right, well, that's all the questions that I think we covered all of our questions. Ravens fans, thank you for tuning in. Be sure to follow along with any more previews, any more content we put out on YouTube. Of course, follow along with your men's lacrosse team. They open on Wednesday here at Mack Holt Stadium against Wilmington at 7 p.m. Coach Ashton, thank you for joining us, and good luck this year.
Thank you, Aaron.